In this video, I'm gonna talk about 5 tips for Photoshop beginners. Hey, this is Chris from iStalker. If you are already subscribed to this channel, you may not receive all the updates, so please make sure you click on this bell near the subscribe button. And if you are new to this channel, I mostly make Photoshop, Lightroom, and GoPro tutorials, so please consider subscribing. Okay, so let's start with tip number 5, the screen modes. If you are working on an image, you may be distracted sometimes from different directions by toolbars on the right side, menus at the top, and even your taskbar at the bottom. So you can go to the View menu, you choose Screen Mode, and you have 3 different options. Standard Screen Mode, which is enabled right now. This is the default mode where the taskbar, the panels, and all the menus are visible. Then you have Full Screen Mode with Menu Bar, where the taskbar from the bottom simply disappears. I love this one because I don't get distracted by the Facebook chat window, for example, so I can focus better on my work. And you also have this Full Screen Mode, which allows you to see your image without any kind of distractions. This is important because from time to time you need to see your image in full screen, maybe you need to present it to someone, and if you want to get rid of the rulers from the top and the left side of the screen, just press CTRL+R, and now the only thing that's left on the screen is your image surrounded by black, which is so awesome. And the coolest thing is that you can cycle through all these views by pressing a shortcut. I'm pressing the F key and I can choose the full screen mode with the menu bar, for example. Tip number 4, the hand tool. Let's say you are zoomed in and you are working with different tools on this image. The healing brush, the clone stamp tool, maybe you're making a selection or you just simply use the brush like I do now. You can move anywhere on the image without letting go of the tool you're working with by holding down the spacebar and dragging your image with the mouse in any direction to reach a specific area. Then you can let go of the spacebar and the brush is back again, or the tool you're working with is back again. One thing to keep in mind though, if you can see your whole image on the screen, the spacebar is not active. So keep in mind that this trick works only when you're zoomed in. But if you still want to move your image on the screen, then you have to switch to the full screen mode with menu bar. We've just talked about it in tip number 5, and then you can use the spacebar even if you are zoomed out. Tip number 3, the rubber band option for the pen tool. Okay, this tip is for creating paths and selections. Let's say you choose to work with the pen tool because it's very precise, but when you start creating the outline of an object, this tool is a bit uncomfortable for some of you, especially when you just started with Photoshop. So you begin by creating points, you try to follow the shape of an object, create curved segments, but the problem is that you cannot see any preview of the next segment you will create. And that will be helpful, isn't it? And yes, you can do that. You just need to click up here on this icon and then check this box where it says rubber band. So let's try again. Now when I'm creating points, I can always see a preview of the next segment I'm going to create, and this is very, very helpful if you ask me. It's all about time in Photoshop. You need to find ways to make your editing fast and efficient. Photoshop is hiding some interesting tools, and I cannot understand why this rubber band option is hidden under this small gear wheel. It should be very accessible to the users, but now you know this trick, and I'm sure you're gonna make use of it. Tip number 2, the highlight and shadow clipping. When you are working with an image, you will have to correct the exposure sometimes, adjust the bright points and the shadows. But how will you know what is the perfect point where to stop and don't exaggerate with these two? Well, you can do this by adding a levels adjustment layer on the top of your image. And then you have these 2 points. This is for the highlights and this one is for the shadows. You have to make sure that you will retain as much detail as possible in your image. You should avoid blowing out bright parts or having 100% black areas. So if you hold down Alt on the keyboard and start moving the highlights point, you'll notice that your image becomes black at first, but if you move the marker to the left side, some areas in the photo will start to appear. You should find a point where you start seeing white parts in your image. That is the point when the highlights will be blown out in those areas. If you have small white areas, it's not a problem because clouds are supposed to be white, but you'll have to be careful on portraits or clothes and especially on objects. Let's move to the shadows marker. Just do the same thing, hold down Alt, and this time the image becomes white. And when you push the marker to the right side, you'll start seeing colored pixels, and you should stop when black areas appear on your image. So I will stop somewhere around this point. Now you have a proper exposure on your image, and you can see the difference if you click on this little eye here to hide the levels adjustment layer. And if you want, you can adjust the midpoint slider too, to make the overall look more brighter or darker. It depends what looks good to you. Let's see a before and after one more time. Huge difference in terms of contrast, as you can see. Okay, this is tip number 1, and this is really awesome. Let's say you have an image and you want to place a text on top, but you want to blur the background so the text can be seen much better. You select the background layer and you go to the filters area, choose blur, and then Gaussian blur. I will put in a value of 100 and then hit OK. The filter looks awesome, but what if I decide that I want to modify the blur value? In this case, I cannot do that. The only way is to undo this step, but there is another way which I always use and I recommend it to you. Select the background image, right-click and choose Convert to Smart Object. Now let's apply the same effect from Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. You can see here in the Layers panel that the filter is placed under my image and I can hide it and unhide it when I want. But the important thing is that I can go back and modify my blur. I can do this by double-clicking the Gaussian blur filter, lower the blur amount to 60 for example, hit OK, and there you have it. The blur changed and I can still go back by any time to modify its value. So the key is to first convert your image into a smart object, and then you can apply one or multiple filters from the menu which can be adjusted at any point so you don't have to undo steps and lose precious time. I think this is a nice tip for Photoshop beginners, and if you like what you've seen today, please hit the thumbs up below.